Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Venture with Joe and Cody. I'm Joe Skipper, the owner of Skipper Realty Group, brokered by eXp Realty, and that's Cody Wilhelm with Residential Mortgage,
Hello.
lending all over the world.
That's right. 22 states currently. We just got approved
22
in
states.
Kentucky.
You got to get 50, bro. Come on.
We're getting there. I know. We're getting there.
You need to be able to
22.
work all over. Do you see that? I think you can't do that. We've talked about that in real estate. You can't do that in real estate, but
Yeah,
man, it opens up your numbers
totally.
big time to be able to work in different states as a lender.
Gives you a lot of flexibility. And I feel like, most of the time, unless you're working an online lead platform of leads that are coming in all over the country.
Yeah.
I feel like most of this stuff you're kind of getting in your general area.
Oh, really?
Like for us being on the Oregon-Washington border, it's more of a mix of Oregon and Washington, but primarily the stuff that I get that's out of state is like somebody that I know or a past client that's moving to a different state or wherever. Yeah. But it is nice to be able to have it. I mean, you never know what might develop, or have a friend move to a different state.
Market, to market different locations or things like that. I was thinking like of, which it makes total sense why they don't allow this, is I was like, man, if I could get licensed in Arizona and have a place as I get older, being able to like be licensed in Oregon and Arizona, and then, you get a little pocket, not that I'd say you'd make this huge business in Arizona, but you get a little pocket of a community that you're, kind of that area, sell a few homes down there. But Arizona probably caught on to that a long time ago, that agents are kind of dabbling in the market. And so basically you have to show residency in Arizona. Oh,
really?
To be able to get a license in Arizona. And so that's like comes with like 9 months of showing, you live there and blah, 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 blah. So there's probably workarounds. I have family there and stuff, but I was like, I'm not gonna go that route. But I did think, I was like, man, good little like retirement to like be, snowbird up to Oregon, still have business there, go down to Arizona, sell a few homes just to kind of pad the stats, but unfortunately, it's not in the cards until I get old enough to say, not old enough, but I guess till the point where we're like, let's be residents of, I don't know if I could be, I might have to be a resident of Oregon, for, you can't do both. I don't know what the rule is.
I guess you could probably do both, like ownership, like if you bought a
but then if you have Arizona, to show proof of residency in both, I don't know. Anyways,
because then you could issue. I don't know. I would think that you could have like a utility bill or something in your name.
Yeah.
I don't know what all they would need.
Right now, it's not happening. I thought it was easy enough because Washington, you can do it. You can get your Washington license and that sort of stuff. Being in Oregon, so I was like, oh, maybe I could do that in Arizona. But
just take a picture of you in Arizona. Like, here you go,
like laying in bed. Like, here's me. I'm sleeping here.
Look, there's the sun. You see the sun out there? Where else would I be?
I live here. Anyways, so what's up, man? Like, how are things been going? Let's just go right into the real estate world. We can't talk about each other the entire time because we tend to just go off on tangents.
We do.
Like our live stream went off on tangents. So
well, I kind of went
focused.
Yes, we're hyper focused here.
Yes,
I went off on a little rabbit trail last week when we were talking about some stuff with the Blazers and the Portland housing market and everything. And one thing that I found interesting is when I was looking it up, one of the most common things that seems to be posted or proposed, how like Google will have, you'll put in something and then it'll have like pre-templated questions that probably everybody asks or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, when it comes to housing, is there going to be a housing market crash in 2006 or 26 or 27? And it's all just kind of like, it always feels to me like everybody thinks there's going to be a crash at any given time, whether it's a good market or a bad market. It's always like, we're going to nosedive anytime.
The good market's going to pop. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You're either buying way too high or it's too low and all this stuff. So I started finding a couple pretty cool sites and I pulled up some stuff for the Portland area. So it doesn't give me a range of anything. So I'm assuming greater Portland general area. And so this chart was pulled up as far back as they went, which looks like it goes back to about 1977, 78. And out of all those years, which I'm not going to do the math, but it's probably 50 years, 40 something years.
Ish.
There have been 7 years of negative appreciation or depreciation in the housing market in the general Portland area.
Wow.
Which I thought was interesting because,
Yeah.
you know, I wasn't paying attention to the housing market before I got into it in 2013. But, you know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
hear about all the stuff. And 4 of those years were in the 2007, 8, 9, 10 range when everything everywhere was crashing. Prior to that, it was 1981, 1983, and 1985. So
Okay.
overall, the stability, and
Yeah.
keep in mind, this is just Portland. This isn't nationally, but this is like where we live. So I'm going to put this up here. I don't know if it'll be able to show or focus or
Yeah, it
anything,
does.
but
So
those,
that's
obviously the green is all big increases. So
and so the other, the red in towards the end of there, that was COVID. That was not COVID. That was the 2008 stuff.
yep. Yep.
Okay.
So the worst year was 2010 and it was 9%. It was down 9%.
Jeez.
And then it
And
was,
that's like
so it
that doesn't
started
sound
the
like a
first.
lot necessarily, but that's a lot. Like
Well, yeah, and
that's a
especially with the
lot.
previous year being 7% down. So you were down
Yeah,
7, and then you're down 9, and then it was down 4, then it was down 5,
that's
and then we
crazy.
saw, 2 plus 2 on the next year, and then it went up. This is where it gets kind of crazy, and you can see where all of our our housing market, how it increased so much, because it
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
9%, and the next year is 8%, and then 11%, 11%, 6, 4, 4, 6, 18. That was the
That's
end of our peak
nuts.
post COVID,
Yeah, that's nuts.
18%. And so the last couple years, as we've all seen, it's been slower. So homes sit for a little bit longer. 1%, 1.5%, 3%. The lowest that it's been since 2012 in the Portland area was 2023, and that was 0.6%
Okay.
increase.
So
So
just flat basically.
it's been flat, right?
Yeah.
So 2024 had a 3% increase. So all that to say, I there's moments where I'm like, it might be great for the housing market to hit a big reset, but that also means that there's way bigger stuff going on. That's
Yeah,
like major job losses,
for
major
sure.
bad stuff going on. So it's like,
For sure.
yes, I think it would be good because it would bring down home prices back. But again, it's going to be such a temporary thing because we look at 4 years of bad and then it just jumps up
It
like
jumps completely
it,
up.
it
Yeah.
erased it within 2 years. So
It
yeah, you're
shows
going to
that
get some relief for a couple
it's
years.
that's an anomaly more than
Yes.
like anytime you're looking at that stuff. Yeah, those reds are an anomaly, and that means something happened, like some large event
Yeah.
happened. It wasn't like that's just how the housing market goes. Sometimes it tanks for, multiple years. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
traditionally do that. It has to take some sort of event, generally speaking. So yeah, I think that, and everyone says it, and it sounds just kind of so like, okay, but that's why real estate is such a good investment. It may be a boring investment in the sense you're not going to see huge rises, but you're also not going to see huge negatives like to it. And so even though this market is slow, or what people would deem as slow, it's houses are still selling. I think the latest in Wilsonville was like 99.89% of sales to list price. So
Oh wow.
you're getting the values. It's not selling at 80% or 85% or even 90%. It's selling almost at 100% of the price that people are listing at. So I don't see, like, I think what you were hinting at and even said is like, barring anything crazy happening in the country or world, the market is what it is and it's pretty stable. Like, so anyways, that's good information though. I think it's good for people to kind of look at that and say that, as an investment, homes, you're not risking a huge ton by buying even
Mhm.
now when everyone's like rates are so high. I'm going to wait for rates to drop. It's like if you can afford it, the home itself is going to appreciate over time. Maybe right now it's appreciating only 1%, 2%, but if you get in when it's like a year that hits it at
Yeah.
9% and things like that and then sell it, you're made a good investment. So
Right.
anyways, just that's good information.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that gets overlooked at times when people are buying the investment side of it,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah,
it's viewed as what's the monthly payment
for
and is this
sure.
going to work for our family, which obviously majorly important things, but
Yes.
I think like way off in the distance is the reminder or the thought of
Yes, that
this
this
is
is an
something that
investment.
we're
Yeah.
actually investing
Yep.
into, and we're going to eventually, you might start out at the 1%, 2%, but if you hold on to it long enough, you're going to hit these
For
10,
sure.
12, 14% years, and that might be 10 years down the road, but like that thing's going to appreciate, and
For sure.
we're in a slower period, and we're we're either going to just tank out of some crazy thing,
Yeah.
or we're just going to start swinging back up the other
Swinging
way
back up.
because
Yeah.
we're 4 years in now to a slower side of the housing market, which has leveled things out quite a bit price wise. Felt like for the longest time you'd look at something and you're like, that place is not worth
Yeah,
550. I can't believe
absolutely.
that that's what 550 is getting you now. And now when I see a lot more stuff, I'm like, that's actually a pretty good deal for 550. I think it's, stalled out long enough that
Yeah.
everything has, you start to just get used to it and look at it and say, that's actually not a bad deal. And I didn't feel that way for years and
No,
years
it's
because
been
it was like,
ridiculous for years.
yeah,
Yeah. But I think, yeah, and I don't know when we just start saying it's normal. Everyone we say it is like, oh, it's slower. It's slower. Slower than what? It's like I
uh-huh,
say it all the time. I'm like, oh, things are slowed down. Things are compared to
yeah,
what? Like, I it's getting to a point where it's just life. Like when do we
yeah,
just start saying, oh, the market's fine? It's good.
hmm,
Like because it is.
right,
I end up explaining that it's good. The number one question I get asked is how's the market? What's going on? What's going on in the real
hmm,
estate world? And I always am like, well, it's slower. It's blah blah
yeah,
blah. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, at what point do I just say it's great? Everything's fine.
great,
Like
yeah,
buyers and sellers have some say, buyers have some say, sellers,
hmm,
your house will sell. I guess like you always feel like you have to justify the market to people of like, okay, it's slower, but it's normal. Like it's
right,
fine. I think we spend all our time doing that on a regular basis, which is totally fine. But it's because we harp on this all the time. Is like sellers and buyers don't they're not paying attention to the market until they are selling or they're buying. We pay attention
totally,
to it all the time. So to us, it's like things are normal, but we do have to explain to sellers coming in from like COVID times of like, hey, is it a good time to sell?
uh-huh,
And that means to them something completely different than what it means to us. Like they're like,
mm,
to them, what's a good time to sell? Is it a good time to sell means can I make 30, 40, 50K over what like over
right,
asking price, like I did last time, like I bought for last
uh-huh.
time. And so that I think kind of is why I'm working through this myself, Cody. You're just my therapist. I'm like
No, it's
working through the issues. But I'm but
it's a
it
good
is,
point though.
it's to us, like I guess at some point you just have to say that market is normal. It's a normal market.
Yeah,
Like but then you always are like, it's normal. But homes are staying on the market
right,
longer. Buyers are having more of a say. I'm like, but that ultimately is a normal market.
uh-huh,
So I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know where I'm going with
Well,
that,
and
but
I feel like it always, it feels like you're always kind of comparing this current year either to last year or your
yeah,
best year. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
if it's not there, then you're like, oh man, yeah, it's a little slower, it's a little
for
slower
sure,
than I'd like it to be, or
for
but then
sure,
when you compare it to those years, it's not really fair because it's, a different
absolutely,
market,
yeah,
completely different
for sure,
housing market, interest rate market, everything. So I think it's a good point because I probably need to do a better job of that too when people ask about it. And it's like, because I'm the same way. I'm like, it's good. It's slower, but it's also
yeah,
good for buyers. But then
yes,
like you're kind
the
of
same
you're
spiel of
throwing out
like,
way too
yes,
much
yes,
when the
exactly.
reality is like, yeah, it's good. It's a good balanced market right
Exactly.
now. Like,
Exactly. And the data shows it. Like even the
yeah,
data, like, the things I explain to people is like it doesn't coincide with what the data shows. Homes
mm,
are selling at almost 100% of the value. Homes are taking slightly longer to sell, slightly
right.
longer than whatever to sell. But the number is fine. It's just interesting. Yeah, like
I know. I
I
know.
just need to start saying that it's a good market. It's a good market for sellers. It's a good market for buyers. But I feel like there is some justification for people because I do feel like you do have to prepare people, especially on the selling side of things, that you're not getting off. You're generally going to be on the market for the average days on market, and there's an average for a reason. There's a high end, there's a low end, and
Yeah.
you could be on the low end and be and adjust the average low, or you could be the
Uh
person that
huh.
adjusted the average high. So,
Sure.
um, but that doesn't mean you're home. People, I think, yeah, I think people panic pretty quickly. Still, sellers
Oh
still
yeah.
panic pretty quickly. Of like, okay, what's happening, what's going on, and it's very hard as an agent to suggest a price drop all the time because that's not necessarily the case that needs to be done. So you
Yeah.
always have to factor that in. Obviously you factor people's goals, but I'm like, I hesitate to tell people we price homes pretty well, and we don't just willy-nilly make up a number, and so price dropping, yes, ultimately price dropping sells it because you're selling it at a discount.
Right.
But also you have to, it's a matter of waiting or finding that right buyer for your particular
Mhm.
home. But anyways, I'm just going
Well,
off on a
and
tangent, but
yeah, no, to that point though, I like most appraisals that I'm seeing right now and have been seeing for a while are not coming in low.
yeah,
They're coming in high,
yeah,
which tells you that the data, the comps, the prices, everything. It's not that homes are overpriced because of the, like you're talking about with price drops. It's if they were overpriced, I feel like we would be seeing more and more low appraisals because it's like, hey, yeah, it sold for this, but all the other homes that are comparable to this are not selling for this amount. So it's the opposite, which tells you that the market is actually stronger numbers wise
yes,
than what some of these people are even paying for the home, which just, you had the wise quote, every pot has a lid. It's just finding that right lid. And that might take 2, 3, 4 months, which
for
is
sure.
probably uncomfortable for some people, but
Yeah, it's not fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think it's because homes just aren't worth it anymore. It's just
I
a
agree.
select pool of buyers. And, just like everything that you sell, it's just waiting for that right. If you have the time, then you can just wait for that right buyer, and that right buyer is going to show up eventually.
Yeah, and I think it's prepping. Sellers need to prep for that. And I think, what we're seeing lately is sellers coming in saying, I need to sell in a month.
Mm. Oh yeah.
And I think that I need to do a better job. And, we all as agents need to do a better job of letting people know. We just talked about this with lending with you, is like they call you like, right, we just got under contract with a house. Now what do we do? And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, we
Uh-huh.
need to, we needed to talk about this.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I think it's the same with selling. Is you have people, we still have people call in May saying, I want to sell in spring because I need to sell it by June, or sell it by July. And it's like, I think that people need to, be, we just need to do a better job at educating people of like, it could take time. So if you
Hmm.
are looking to, get out of your home in 2 months, that's going to be a tougher sell, and this has to be aggressive with pricing, but
Yeah.
plan on, the longer, 4 to 6 months on the market so that you can kind of have that buffer. Because I do think people come into the market like not reaching out to an agent until it's like, yeah, we're thinking about listing next week and we need it sold in 4 weeks, and
Yeah.
we bought another house and we just called Cody, and like
Yes.
it's like
We're
it's
ready.
just so chaotic versus like being like, this market is fine, you just have to prepare for that
Hmm.
length of time that just wasn't the case years ago. So
Sure. Well, and I think you see it both on the mortgage side, plus you with helping somebody buy or sell. It's like it feels like it's a very simple process when you're not in the middle of it, right? You're like, okay, cool. You just get pre-approved, or we just decide on a house that we want
yeah,
to buy, or our house is pretty much ready to sell. What all do we need to do, right?
yeah,
But then you get into it and you realize, just like any other project or thing that you do, you're like, I was not prepared for this.
yeah, yeah,
I did not buy enough supplies. I didn't do my research. I didn't find this stuff out. And then I think it just makes it more stressful because now, especially if you're on a time crunch, now it's like overwhelming because you got to get all this stuff done. You got to find all this paperwork. You have to do everything in 2 weeks, as opposed
yeah,
to like, okay, we're going to plan the next 6 months to do all this leg work. And then that way, when the time comes, we're ready to go. But some people, it's whether they're just extra busy or it just feels like, well, we'll just deal with that when it gets there.
for
I
sure.
think buying and selling houses is it's a big involvement. I mean, even
Yeah.
just packing up your house and
Oh,
moving,
I
that
know.
alone always takes way more
Every
time
time we
and
close, I'm
energy.
like, I think about people doing that, and I'm like, that
Uh-huh.
just takes. Even walking into my own house, I'm like, because we always talk about moving and what do we do and what do we, are we staying? And
Hmm.
you look in your own house, you're like, I don't want to pack. Like, I
Yeah.
always end up packing for ourselves. Like, we all end up moving ourselves. We never hire a moving company because we're like, we
Yeah.
could do
Yeah.
it. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, at the end of it, you're like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Why did we not hire a moving
Yes.
company? Like, but you always like, yeah, it should be fine. We'll back it up, have a
Uh-huh.
couple friends with trucks, and then by the end of it, you're like, that
Exactly.
is the dumbest thing I've ever done. But
Yeah.
um,
I know.
I
This last time we moved, I was like, my wife really wanted to have movers, and I'm like, all right, we'll do that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
normally the person that says no, fine, I'll take a look at it. And I
yeah,
called around and got a couple quotes, and I'm like, well, we're packing ourselves because
yeah.
I'm not
Because I'm
I'm
not
not
paying for
willing to
that.
pay that. We're moving 30 minutes from this
Yes,
house.
yes.
I thousands of dollars
Yes,
to
you're
have
not, it's
somebody
not
move this seems
happening. Yeah.
ridiculous,
But
and we
then
still
you
have to
then you
pack
do
it
it and
all.
you're like, this is terrible.
Yeah, we're paying them to literally put it in the truck
I
and then
know.
take the truck. We still have to unload it all. We have to
Yeah.
pack it up. Like, great deal,
Yeah,
but
it's
not
a
for me.
thing. Well, I have like a kind of a controversial topic, controversial in the real
Oh,
estate world, and I want
yeah.
people to think about this. So if you're a real estate agent, I'd love to hear your opinions on this, because what I'm seeing in this market is less buyers coming to see the home. And I think this is my theory is I think agents have done a good job at online showing the property, online, the 3D tours, the virtual walkthroughs, the everything you can do to see the home. I think buyers are doing what they traditionally would do of a walkthrough, like go see the home physically. They're doing it online. I think that's a
Mm,
pretty easy thing to kind of wrap your head around. Is like I think that buyers, now that they have access to the entire home, they literally can walk in the hallways, look around the hallways, walk into the kitchen, look around the kitchen. Like they can do all of it online now. We've done a good job
hmm
as agents to kind of really showcase the entire home. I think that diminishes in-house visits. Like I don't think
hmm
buyers in-house visit. And did we talk about this? You
I
and
think we
I?
talked about it. Yeah,
Oh, I'm not gonna get into it. Like if we talked about this.
I think we did. I think we
I
talked
didn't
about it.
think I talked about it. No, what was the point though? What was the point? It was it diminishes that. Oh, we're talking about potentially like not. Uh, did I talk about the quality of the videos of the walkthroughs?
Um, no, it was just more or less like being able to see everything
Okay,
virtually.
I'm
How
gonna
it
skip
just
it. I
kind
was
of.
so excited. My controversial topic was like not having because we talked to our videographer and photographer about this, and he said yeah, he agrees. And the videography or the 3D walkthrough doesn't show the lighting as well as a picture does, like because you can't edit it as
Okay.
well. So I
Yeah.
think and they don't generally look good. I don't know if you've been through like 3D
Uh huh.
tours recently, but like they don't look as good. The lighting's it just kind of looks like an place, and I just think it's really hurting in-house visits, which I think in turn hurts homes. Like I think it hurts home sales because how many people have I think we did talk about this, Joe, you idiot. We did talk about like how many people go to a house and like I never would have thought I liked this house till I was there. Like
Yeah.
and I just think that
Totally.
I think we've overdone it in the industry.
hmm
Like so I think the controversy is that I think that we need to do a good job marketing it, but also have some tease to make people
Yeah.
go there. Because I don't think
hmm
you know until you get to a house what you're going to see. So we're trying to figure
Totally.
that out as a company of like, how do you not look like someone who's not doing a good job? Because you want to do a good job for your client, but how do you also entice buyers to actually see the home versus seeing it online? Like a Tinder thing, and that's what
Mm,
reminded me of like Evan, my nephew, and all that. Like and
yes.
swiping, you don't see it.
Right.
Like so. Anyways,
Well, and
that
there's
was my controversial topic that I already talked to you about. This is like how like my mind is like so full I don't even remember what we're talking about. Yeah. So you're like, yeah, idiot. We just talked about that.
but there is like, I don't know. I know some people can feel like they've got all the information online, and others like I would need to see it in person.
Yeah.
When we bought our most recent vehicle, the outside color and the inside color, when we were looking at
Yeah.
that, we weren't even looking to buy that vehicle because we didn't really like the color of both.
Yeah.
And we went to the same dealership to look at this other car, and it had just sold. And so we are like, oh, well, let's look at that other one just to kind of get a feel for everything. And we ended up buying that one because it looked way better than the pictures showed. So I
Yeah.
think sometimes you just, like you said, to the lighting, the feel of it all, like it's a very different experience when you're in the house, walking through the hallways, looking at the ceiling height,
For
looking at
sure.
all the things. Because sometimes pictures can make it look way better too, which I think also
True.
can
Yeah, absolutely.
hurt
But you
things.
got to be
But
there. And I don't
you
know
got
how
to
you
be
get
there.
how do agents kind of navigate that of like, yeah, showing you're doing a good job by getting great photography and videography, but also enticing people to come in and walk in the house. Because,
Right.
like you said, the car thing, everything, if you can see it online, it doesn't look the same. Like, and so if you poo poo away something like that, just
hmm
because of photos or video, you're like,
Yeah.
you know, You're just not
You're like, I
maybe
don't like the
getting
way
it.
that dash looks
Yeah.
in the picture, but then you
Yeah.
see it in person, you're like,
And you're
this
like, oh, it's
looks
not bad.
way different.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
not
not
bad at
bad.
all. Like, it looks normal,
For
but in a
sure.
picture, you're like,
For sure.
it's
Interesting.
terrible.
Well, I'm sorry that I'm like redoing our podcast.
It's an important topic. The people need to
I'm
know.
just gonna keep harping on it until someone tells me to shut up.
Yeah.
But just the little bit about the Blazers. I just was looking at this article. We had talked about the Blazers last week.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like a few things to know. It's like I was looking at OPB on this 5 things to know. Wednesday they have a vote.
Hmm.
I guess that would be we're recording this, pre-recording it. So they have a vote this week on
Yeah.
that. Says Portland's the last government to approve its mode of funding. So they're basically Multnomah counties. They're the last to vote on this. That doesn't
Okay.
really matter. The term sheet that they have can be changed up until the point of vote. The Blazers are still caught up on a legal threat. Short-term lease between Blazers requires the team to maintain the Moda Center as a first-class NBA arena. In June, the city councilor Steve Novick questioned that if they're meeting that standard. So, yeah, and then this is just the start of the negotiations. So the Blazers are in a long haul with this. But again, I think that they're,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't. The vibe I get from Portland is that they're just like, we have to do this because we have to, but we don't want to.
Right.
And so, and I've been digging in since our last podcast about them. And, I think, generally, I think you and I think we're right all the time. And
Yes.
I think we have been right. I mentioned not blaming this owner coming in. A lot of people are like blaming the Paul Allen estate of like selling how they did, versus this owner's doing what he's not hiding anything. It wasn't like he came in. It's like, I love the Blazers, and then all of a sudden he doesn't. Like the fact that they sold that. Like I think that they had even mentioned, and this is all kind of rumor mill in the sports world, but like Phil Knight entertained buying it like with partners, and the Allen estate was like no, so there was lots of opportunities. Now we're running into this, are the Portland Blazers going to stay? It's like it all went downhill immediately when the Paul Allen estate sold it to this guy, knowing full well that this guy wants to leave. So yeah, interesting.
I think that and maybe it all works out and they turn things around and it feels like this was all worth it. But I think, I'm an Oregon guy. So of course, Uncle Phil Knight, I think he's an Oregon guy too. And I think that would have been really cool, and I'm saying like state of Oregon too, not just University of Oregon. Like, I think that he would have been that guy that would have like solidified that it would stay here again, even when he passed away and it went to his estate or whatever. And maybe it'll work out great with Tom Dundon, but I would have loved to see something where it's like local ties that are going to make it be and stay local, because that's been a fear I think for a while now too, like especially after Paul Allen passed away. It's like, what's going to happen
to him?
He was keeping it here because he's got Seattle and Portland and Northwest and everything, and it's like you get out of that, especially when you don't have a high profile team that's, you can't take them out of here, everything's thriving, like, and you're I don't know, it's just bad timing. I hope everything does come together and they stay here, but it is bad timing to have the sale plus all the work that needs to be done and the contract's almost up and all these things. It's like,
I know it's a lot going on.
Doors are pretty open.
Yeah, I feel like I know 1% of any of this, so I'm not claiming that I have inside knowledge. But I'm like, to sell this to this guy and then expect, you feel like someone should have known. Like someone should have been like, whoa, wait a minute, like what are we doing here? But it's all about money ultimately. So maybe it was just about money, and he came in with the highest price tag. Because I know that Phil Knight, I think, at least originally when they were interested, like gave a lower number than expected, but it was like
half.
But at least bring them to the table to say, hey, here's what we've got, So anyways, new changes over the next few weeks with the Blazers, so we'll see.
Yeah, and I just saw a snippet this morning that said the Lakers sold.
Oh really? I haven't seen that.
I didn't look into it yet or anything, but yeah, it was like the Lakers sold for $12.3 billion or something like that.
Huh. And then I guess also in the golf world, Liv is struggling as well. Liv Golf.
Yeah. They
But
were supposed to like shut down, but then I heard that they got
yeah,
money
someone
from
else came in.
somewhere,
Yeah.
which
But they
I
so
don't even I don't know why.
I
It's
know.
gonna fail. It's
I know.
already
It's just a matter of
a
time.
failure, but
Yeah.
yeah.
They someone showed this like picture of like the final hole on the final day of 18 at the Live golf course, and
Yeah.
it was like 18 people like like watching the final grouping, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like, can you imagine that as a PGA
I know.
tour, like a high level guy too?
Yeah.
Because a lot of these guys were at the time really at the best. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that? Where it's like you go from there
To
to where
like
you've got thousands and thousands of people and it's like super serious
yeah.
to now you're getting paid way more money. You get to
Yes.
wear shorts. There's music. There's
Yes.
not even really that many
But you have
people. You're
just your
just kind of
family
playing
there.
with your friends. Yeah. You
Yeah.
got like your friends and family there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting
Like
paid this much just to like go out and
I
have fun
know.
and play golf. Like
I
that, I don't
know.
even
It's
think it
crazy.
matters if you win on that tour.
Golf is so interesting because the fan base only follows like the top players, like the Wyndham
Yeah.
Classic or whatever that was last week.
Uh-huh.
Like no one was there. Like there was
No.
no names there, and it was like no big names stayed in the tournament, and so it was
Uh-huh.
like the crowd, relatively speaking, to like if Rory was
Yes.
there or something like that,
Yeah.
was nothing. And it's just so funny. Like these big
Hmm.
tournaments, like if the players get cut, everyone's like, "Yep, I'm leaving." Like no
Yeah.
fans, no fan base wants to watch like random
Yeah.
golfers. But
Well, and
yeah,
it would suck too to have a tournament that's just leading up to like the FedEx Championship,
yeah,
where it's like a lot of these guys don't need to play because
don't have
they've
to
already
play.
got
Yeah,
enough to qualify. And
yeah,
like it would just be a bummer for
yeah.
those courses in those towns
I
where it's
know,
like we have a
I know.
PGA event and
It's
none
like
of our
no one
stars are going to be
cares.
there because
Yeah.
they're all just taking a break. And,
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, my man. Well, it was good talking to you, and
hey, you too.
yeah, I guess until next week.
Let's do it. Do it
We'll
again next week.
yes. If you haven't already, sign up. Sign up. Subscribe to Venture with Joe and Cody. If you haven't,
Do it.
do it.
Like and subscribe, comment,
Yeah, everything. Do it all.
all
Okay,
the
man.
things.
We'll talk to you next week.
Awesome. All right. We'll see you later.
Yeah.